Welcome back to yet another edition of National Headlines on India Roundup. Almost a week since it started the world's largest vaccination exercise with its homegrown inoculants, India crossed a major milestone last Friday, which is of administering jabs to at least 10.5 lakh, that is more than a million beneficiaries, the Health Ministry said. The number of people who have received a jab of the two-dose vaccine in India since January 16th is more than many other countries, the Health Ministry said in a statement amid government's increased push to spread information on their safety. In the last 24 hours, 237,050 healthcare workers were vaccinated across more than 4,000 sessions. On the testing front too, India continues to register growing numbers. Cumulative testing has crossed 19 crore. This helped bring down the positivity rate to 5.59%. The statement was issued as the centre fights hard to counter hesitancy towards India's vaccines, Bharat Biotech's Covaxin and Serum Institute of India's Covishield. Many frontline and healthcare workers have requested that they be allowed to choose which vaccine they receive amid ongoing phase 3 trials of Covaxin. The death of at least 4 frontline workers soon after getting their first jab has deepened fears. None of the deaths are related to the vaccines, the government has said, while releasing the number of cases of daily hospitalizations and minor adverse events following immunization. The vaccines are safe, it has stressed repeatedly, but the reports of many vaccine vials going to waste continue to pour in. The former UPA government's Defence Minister A.K. Antony, Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde, External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid, along with the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, on Wednesday accused the top union ministers of having violated the Official Secrets Act and committed treason by leaking the operational plan on the IAF retaliatory strike at Balakot to the Republic TV chief Arnab Goswami. They demanded an investigation, sacking of the guilty, and action against Goswami. They insisted that only the top leadership could have been privy to such sensitive military operational matters and asserted that top military officers would never ever leak such details. The opposition parties will raise the matter during the upcoming parliament session. They asked how Goswami could flaunt such close proximity and access to those in the government. An FIR has been registered in Lucknow against Tandav makers, and Amazon Prime's India head of original content, Aparna Purohit, for illegally insulting Hindu deities through the series. The complaint filed was after suo motu cognizance by the state government. It says that after public complaints, the episodes of the series were watched by a team of officers, and it was found that it had content that insulted the Hindu gods and goddesses. The series also abuses caste and can threaten peace in the society. The INB ministry on Sunday issued a notice to Amazon Prime Video.
The most fascinating water world on Earth, the Great Backwaters, Kerala.
India is planning to draft and legislate an overarching statute for the over-the-top platforms and news websites that will define a framework for their self-regulation and address the issue of sensitive content and fake news, a move that is aimed at creating a level playing field in the business. There are at least 40 OTT platforms, including global ones, such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Hotstar, and hundreds of news content websites. While the news on sensitive content on some of the larger OTT platforms makes the headlines, Netflix, Sacred Games, and A Suitable Boy have both come under fire from various groups. According to the government officials familiar with the matter, the issue of self-regulation in digital media was taken up at the highest levels this month, and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has decided to frame an overarching statute under which the digital media can regulate itself. This could be done on 2 dimensions. 1, the creation of self-regulating bodies such as the Press Council of India. And 2, a law which says that the TV channels are broadly regulated under the Cable Television Networks Regulation Act. The digital media, which has been unregulated till now, will soon have an overarching regulation. OTT platforms in India reach around 40 million customers and make up a market worth around 3,000 rupees crore. Conscious about not trampling on any freedoms, the IMB ministry has been talking to the Internet and Mobile Association of India, which speaks on behalf of OTT platforms, for more than a year on self-regulation. An initial self-regulation framework suggested by the body has been rejected, government officials said, because it favored the OTT companies. The ministry is also worried that viewers upset with content on OTT platforms do not have a body that they can appeal to, much like they can do with TV companies. In quite an interesting turn of events related to social media hacks and phishing, Nidhi Razdan, an NDTV journalist, said that she had been the victim of a sophisticated and coordinated phishing attack and that she had not in fact been offered any such position. Nidhi Razdan had announced 7 months ago on social media that she was leaving NDTV to join Harvard University as an associate professor of journalism. Joshua Benton, the director of Nieman Journalism Lab at the Harvard University, responded to Razdan's statement saying, "Wow, this is awful. And for the record, Harvard has no school of journalism, no department of journalism, and no professors of journalism." In her statement, Razdan said she had filed a complaint with the police and provided them with all the relevant documentary evidence. She wrote that the attackers used clever forgeries and misrepresentations to obtain access to her personal data and communications, and may also have gained access to her devices and her email and social media accounts. Her post soon became a talking point on Twitter, with Harvard and NDTV being the top trends on the microblogging platform. There were over 90,000 tweets on Harvard. Razdan had announced her resignation from NDTV as an editor and an anchor on June 13, 2020, on Twitter. Twitter went berserk as India beat Australia by 3 wickets in the fourth and final test at the Gabba in Brisbane to win the 4-match series 2-1 and clinch the Border Gavaskar Trophy for the second time in a row. Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the way as former and current India cricketers joined in to congratulate Team India on their series win over Australia. Rishabh Pant played an outstanding knock and remained unbeaten on 89 to help India chase down 328 on a 5th-day track in Brisbane. India became the first team to beat Australia in a test match in Brisbane in 32 years. This is also India's first victory at Gabba in 7 tests. Before this, India had lost 5 while drawing 1 at the venue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday announced the launch of Rs 1,000 crore Startup India Seed Fund to support startups and help budding entrepreneurs pursue innovative ideas. Addressing the Prarambh Startup India International Summit, Modi exuded confidence that the growth of startups will help in generating jobs and improving lives of people in the region. In order to provide initial capital for startups, the nation is launching a Rs 1,000 crore Startup India Seed Fund. This will help in setting up new startups and promote their growth, the Prime Minister said. The summit marked the 5th anniversary of the Startup India initiative launched by Modi on this day in 2016. The government, Modi added, has been implementing the Fund of Funds scheme to help startups raise equity capital. Going forward, the government will also help startups in raising debt capital. India is home to the world's 3rd largest startup ecosystem, which has helped several budding entrepreneurs to come up with innovative technologies and become big corporations. There are over 41,000 startups in the country. He further said that startups in India are not limited to big cities, and about 40% of such budding entrepreneurs are coming from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Smokers and vegetarians were found to have lower seropositivity, indicating that they may be at a lesser risk of getting infected by coronavirus, according to a pan-India sero-survey conducted by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, the CSIR. The survey was conducted across CSIR's 40 institutes. The survey also found that those with blood group O may be less susceptible to the infection, while people with B and AB blood groups were at a higher risk. In July last year, the Ministry of Health of the Union reported that smokers were likely to be more vulnerable to COVID-19 as smoking increases the risk of virus transmission from hand to mouth, and cautioned that smoking tobacco products may increase the severity of respiratory infections and render people susceptible to coronavirus. The study suggested that smokers are less likely to be seropositive, and despite COVID-19 being a respiratory disease, smoking may be protective. The study found that higher seropositivity was found for those using public transport and with occupational responsibilities such as security, housekeeping personnel, non-smokers, and non-vegetarians. 92 countries have approached India for COVID-19 vaccines, bolstering New Delhi's credentials as the vaccine hub of the world. Highly placed sources said that the scores of countries are approaching India as the word spreads that Indian vaccines are showing negligible side effects since the immunization drive in the country began last Saturday. India is sending its domestically developed vaccines to several neighboring countries, including Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar. Brazil, which has the second highest number of coronavirus cases in the world, next to United States, has sent a special plane to pick up Indian vaccines from Pune. A Brazilian plane is expected to fly the first 2 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine purchased by the government's Fiocruz Biomedical Institute. The Bolivian government had also signed a contract with India's Serum Institute for the supply of 5 million doses of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine. In tune with Prime Minister Modi's message, India's vaccine approach is intended to heal humanity. India would not be averse to provide vaccines to Pakistan as a part of the drive to eliminate the virus globally. And in the course of time, if the Chinese vaccine does not work, India would not hesitate to supply jabs to Beijing as well. The sources pointed out that India's vaccine exports to China may go a long way in addressing India's adverse trade balance with the Middle Kingdom. So far, China's vaccine has shown patchy results.
India, incredible India.
Thank you for watching today's episode. Do share your feedback in the comments below. Stay safe and see you again next week.